Hey folks, happy Wednesday to you. We continue our Pastor's Devotional Wednesday, July 28th. On this day, we're praying for ninth grade students and staff. Now, ninth graders means that they just started high school. Of course, it's always an important year to be praying for those kids. They're going on to a campus that's even larger than they've been on before, much more sort of academic rigor. They're kind of beginning to think about what's next. It's a huge time for kids to be discovering who they are, who their friendship group is. The world is sort of opening to them in all kinds of ways, and we're just hoping that they choose some godly paths and some godly ways during this time. In addition to this group of ninth graders, I think, they didn't have some of the celebrations and some of the markers that moved them from middle school or junior high over to high school. And so that could be a difficult transition. It's hard to begin something new when you haven't had the opportunity to end what was before. And so praying for those students. Now, I was studying, I want you to open your Bible to Ephesians chapter 6. I was studying for my sermon that's coming up this Sunday, in which one of the passages that we're reading is Ephesians, and my eyes were drawn to the beginning of chapter 6 of Ephesians. So Ephesians chapter 6. Now, Ephesians is a book in the New Testament. It was written by Paul, so you can find that. So Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, Corinthians, then Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise, so that it may be well with you and you may live long on the earth. And fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Now, a couple of interesting things I think about this passage. Obviously we're talking about children. It was important in that world for the folks to understand that their children were bringing honor to them in this sort of godly culture of Judaism, that the children's actions and their faith reflected the parents' actions and their faith. What's interesting to me is that it's written here, for children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment. It's actually not the first commandment, which is interesting to me why that was said. If you look at where the two places where the commandments are listed, Exodus chapter 20 and Deuteronomy chapter 5, it's actually the fifth commandment. It's not the first commandment, though it might have been the most important to them. And there's lots of Jewish writing around those times about the importance of children maintaining a righteousness and a faithfulness, and how that reflected upon the parents. And so, though it may not be listed first in the Ten Commandments, it might be first in their minds, and the most important in their minds. And then it has this line, and fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in discipline and instruction of the Lord. Now, in those days, in the Greco-Roman culture, fathers were responsible for the education of children. Right? We're not sending kids away to school like we do here. Maybe the wealthiest could do that, but education happened within one's household, one's family, and it was the job of the dad to provide that education. Lots and lots of stories within the Greco-Roman world about the amount of force and abuse and physical coercion that was used by dads upon children in the educational process. And a number of stories in sort of Christian literature and Christian historians that rejected that kind of physicality as a motivator. And so this goes along with that fathers don't provoke your children to anger. So fathers are beating their children as they're learning, but bring them up in discipline and instruction of the Lord. And so just another passage that helps us to think more deeply about kids in our world and what they're going through in these days. God bless. Have a great day.